discover the natural power of ashwagandha, an ancient herb known for its healing properties. For over 3,000 years, ashwagandha has been trusted to reduce stress, increase energy, and improve focus. Our ashwagandha is carefully grown, harvested, and processed to retain its maximum potency. Each root is hand-picked and dried, then ground into a pure organic powder, ensuring the highest quality. Simply mix 1 teaspoon into your favorite beverage or take it in capsule form as prescribed by a healthcare professional. Whether you're looking to balance your stress levels, boost your immune system, or enhance mental clarity, ashwagandha offers a natural solution. Experience the benefits of ancient wisdom backed by modern science. Trust nature. Trust ashwagandha. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Good afternoon, family, at a very affordable price. Hope you guys are doing amazing today, and welcome to another beautiful episode of the Africa Today Show. Of course, to those who are here, returning listeners, first-time listeners on all our YouTube channels, all our platforms, and of course, karibuni sana. I hope your Wednesday is going amazing. Happy new month once again. It's April's Fool, so be careful, like I told you, not to be fooled around. Be careful not to be fooled. I had Money and Kamlesh trying to fool me earlier today, but it didn't work. It backfired. But karibuni, hope you guys are doing great, having an easy day, wherever you're catching this from. And as we get to talk about what is happening still with Iran, yesterday we had very interesting conversation. Still in shock, literally, how these people can turn into dogs. I'm still in shock. I'm still in shock, and I'm very scared of me petting any dog on the street. I'm not trying to do that ever again. Like, literally, you don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know what the dog is. If it's all these non-human people, But let me know how your day is coming. And once again, happy new month. We're going to be talking about Iran. And they have threatened, actually, America about attacking their major US companies. We're talking about Apple, Google, Microsoft, and so many. And I'm going to be reading a little bit of an article under that as we get to continue. But before that, it's on a Wednesday. And of course, if you've been keeping up the tabs, or if you know the program of Black Hot Fire Network, every Wednesday, I do share amazing historical videos regarding either the American history, but mostly the American history, either American artists, American bands, American business people, people who literally ventured or featured in so many stuff. And I'd love to share that before we get started, before we get into TikTok and look at what is happening. So karibuni sana, but we're joined by Mr. Black Hot Fire before we get to do that. Karibuni.
Oh sneaky again, Joby. I know you was even live with your sneaky ass.
Started. It's just 3 minutes into the time.
I know. I caught you. I said, let me see. Joby been awful quiet. I don't know if you sent me a message or not. Let me go check her ass. She been starting on time here recently with her sneaky ass.
It's I'm starting on time rather than late. Shit, that's way better. Yes, I'm saying before we get into what is happening, we're going to be discussing still about Iran, and maybe we can switch the conversation in case we want to talk about something else later. But we have Iran, which is going to be bombing major companies of the US. We're talking about Apple, Google, Microsoft.
They said they failed game. They're gonna bomb. They're gonna bomb the infrastructure over that they build. These American companies, they're fair game because all these companies are created by like I told you yesterday, all these companies are created by the military. Your Facebook, your Googles, I told you, they know that. They know none of these people, these Michaels, the Zuckerbergs, and like when you're looking up for Microsoft, why would IBM give goddamn goopy Bill Gates their own operating system for free? They wouldn't. So they know that. So Iran said, we're going to bomb all your businesses over here too. Because they come after the economy. We're going to bomb Google. We're going to bomb Facebook. We're going to bomb all your shit, all your banks too. And then if any of you people living over here in the Middle East, Northeast Africa, in the house, we're going to bomb your fucking house. Because remember, they bomb houses, schools, and hospitals in Iran. So they said, hey, it's fair game now. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, before we get into that, like I'm saying, for those who have been, of course, keeping tabs and know the program of Black Hot Fire Network, every Wednesday I share some historical videos, mostly based on American history. Could be musically, could be food-wise, it could be events that literally took place back then. Today I'm going to be sharing two interesting videos. We have the history of Slocum, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Slocum Masquerade, literally how we had a group of Black people being burnt down and all that. I'm going to be sharing much of that, but we're going to start with this one, which is kind of similar to it in the slavery level or moment.
May 15th, 2025. May 15th, 2025. Flames engulf Louisiana's famed Nottoway Plantation, reducing one of the largest.
Oh, that's the plantation that burned down. That was always like a tourist area. People get married there. One of the most vicious, evil, wickedest slave plantations ever. It was in Louisiana. So they turned into a tourist thing where white people go get married. They had all these secret rooms in there where they used to whip Black people. They had rooms in there that they hidden off where they used to torture Black people, rape them, cut them up. Wicked shit. Go ahead, Jovi.
Antebellum mansions to ashes. Yet behind its striking columns and its polished chandeliers and its lavish rooms lay a unsettling truth, a history woven into America's darkest fabric, the exploitation and oppression of enslaved Black lives. So today we're going to peel away the layers of grandeur and confront the powerful, uncomfortable narrative hidden behind Nottoway Plantation. So join me today while we discuss the destruction of Nottoway. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. If you like audio-only episodes, you can find my podcast wherever you get your podcast. But without further ado, let's get started. To understand the dark history of the Nottoway Plantation, it requires stepping back to the antebellum era, stretching from the War of 1812 until the onset of the Civil War in 1861. During these decades, Southern agriculture experienced an explosion of growth driven by global demand for cash crops like cotton, tobacco, rice, and especially sugar. Southern plantations swiftly embraced these lucrative commodities, amassing tremendous fortunes that generated tremendous political and social influence. Sugar emerged as a particularly profitable, and Louisiana was perfectly suited for sugarcane's finicky cultivation. Rapidly, it became America's sugar bowl, hinting at the sweetness but also masking the undeniable human suffering. Growing and harvesting sugar demanded punishing labor year-round, infamous for its harsh intensity, unyielding workdays, and dangerous conditions. Unlike cotton plantations, which offered a short period of relative downtime, sugar plantations required constant, grueling labor. The planters oversaw enslaved African Americans as essential machines rather than human beings, systematically forcing their bodies and spirits beyond endurance to maximize profits. On sugar plantations, enslaved Black men and women rose at dawn, harvesting in the blistering heat with machete-like tools designed to slice through tough sugar stalks. Loaded into carts, the stalks were then rushed over to sugar mills where enslaved laborers operated dangerous machinery designed to press the juice from the harvested crops. The boiling cauldrons, powerful presses, and the constant threat of horrific burns, injuries, and even death. Such awful conditions meant that life expectancy for enslaved individuals on sugar plantations was significantly lower than on farms cultivating other less taxing crops. An awful calculation that planters simply accepted, believing that Black human life was disposable.
They work you to death. You were never supposed to survive. That's how wicked these people are. You will work to death. Go ahead, Joe.
In the pursuit of profits. Within this brutal economic system stood the Nottoway Plantation, positioned proudly on the banks of the Mississippi River.
Remember, this is where all their wealth came from. After they stole Africans and created their wealth in these plantations all over the rest of what they call the Western world, they went back into Africa because they knew it was less people and colonized it and stole money there and haven't left. So this is how they've got their economic foot and put them on the top. They've stolen everywhere these people went. rob, steal, kill. Everywhere they went, rob, steal, kill. That's the pattern. Go ahead, Joby.
By John Hampton Randolph, a Virginia planter who migrated southward to exploit Louisiana's sugar boom. Norway quickly became emblematic of Southern wealth and power. Randolph understood the lucrative possibilities sugar cultivation offered. In the ambitious and unrelenting pursuit of wealth, he eventually controlled over 6,200.
Now remember, these white people, they call you lazy. They never wanted to work. See, white people never work. And this is talking about the loving nature of Africans. You subjugated yourself to a weaker people. That's another thing I never understood. You wouldn't really fuck the weapons they had. You should have fought to die to death because they're weaker than you physically. These are facts. They shouldn't have been able to enslave you. But Africans, you have the mind. We have the mind of children of loving everybody and not wanting to hurt nobody. So we actually helped our own enslavement, to tell you the truth, because we shouldn't have been enslaved that long to a lesser people, a weaker people. These are facts. Physically, they're weaker than us. So I don't care how many guns and weapons they have, you should have been willing to die. Because you come in waves, they can only kill so many, you're still going to get to them and kill them. So, just like in the movie Django, when DiCaprio say, the outnumbers. Why don't they kill us? What's wrong with their brain? Why won't they kill us? Why don't they just kill us? When we had Stephen and Jake, I got this bitch. He know this bitch. He know this bitch. Who is this nigga on this nag? He's asking, why don't they kill us? They outnumbers. They're stronger than us. Why don't they kill us? Because they got the brains of children. Remember, that's why I said the African has a brain of a child. Go ahead, Joby.
With 1,200 of those acres being exclusively dedicated to sugar production. To maximize his profits, Randolph held at his height 155 enslaved African Americans forced to work, live, and die on his plantation. Randolph expressed his wealth boldly, commissioning New Orleans.
Imagine being black, right? Imagine being black and brought to this country here, and you got 400 years of slavery, and you born as a baby, as a slave, as a child, as a baby, live your whole fucking life as a slave, and die as a slave. You imagine this shit? You imagine the brutality, let alone with the back-breaking work, loss of your identity. Man, that's only black people can live in these conditions and don't do shit about it. We know don't come after me till we had uprisings. So what? We didn't never overturn the shit until later, until 1865 during the war. Eventually, they couldn't keep us in slavery no more because everybody was fighting. But why should it took us 300 years of enslavement to finally fight consistently? Because only black people can live in poverty and degradation and accept the shit. Go ahead, Joby.
Crafted home of unparalleled wealth and size, built
making everybody wealth.
Timber, sourced, prepared, and painstakingly assembled entirely through enslaved labor. Nordaway Plantation stretched nearly 53,000 square feet with 63 opulent rooms, 156 doors and windows, state-of-the-art gas lighting, advanced indoor plumbing, and 22 towering columns gracefully overlooking the riverbanks. Upon the mansion's completion, Randolph went as far as destroying the architect's original plans, preventing anyone else from recreating Nordaway's splendor. Yet, beyond the marble tile and the intricate embellishment, each breathtaking room stood as a monument to human suffering. Nordaway was not merely a mansion, it was a gleaming monument to Randolph's wealth, built entirely on stolen freedom, relentless suffering, and enslaved labor. Life in Nordaway resembled life at countless plantations across the South, marked by constant physical exhaustion.
Pause it. I want you guys to understand. Pause it. All the wealth on this planet today, you guys need to know that, came from enslavement and colonization. This is the wealth that they have today that puts them on the top. This built their economy. You need to understand this. This built their economy. The free labor they had, man, you didn't have to pay a motherfucker to do work for 400 fucking years. Do all kind of labor, never had to pay any wages, no nothing. Then you colonize the whole continent with the wealth it has. Don't have to pay nobody, enslave them, steal the resource. That's where their wealth comes from. The pillaging of the planet. And then they got the nerve to tell you, oh, be peaceful. Don't start any wars. Don't do anything. Stay fucked up and poor. Be peaceful. Don't riot. Because they want to freeze the world as they stole it. They don't want the world to change. That's what they call the they're all conservative. That means conserve the shit that they stole and don't allow anything to change. Because their wealth is based off these systems. That's why Joby said so important. You know history. This is why they're so. This is why they're wealthy, guys. This is where their wealth came from. This became generational wealth that they've been able to pass down for the last 2, 3, 4, 500 years that they stole off the backs of black people. Black people have built the world's wealth, whether in Africa or out of Africa. You need to know this. Wealth of the world was built on the back of black people. That's factual. Go ahead, Joker.
I was to say simply, everything that we see even today, majority has passed by the hands of the black people, literally, or through the brutality. Black people have faced the brutal building of
beautiful exploitation of building everybody's empires and staying impoverished. Yeah.
An emotional torment. Randolph's enslaved workers spent their days planting, cultivating, and harvesting sugarcane under the punishing Louisiana sun. Overseers forced an atmosphere of relentless productivity, threatening and inflicting physical punishment through brutal whippings and beatings.
I want you to see the same thing. Same thing you see here is the same thing you saw in the Congo with the cutting off of their hands and out working out, making white people wealthy. It's the wicked, evil shit. They don't ever want you. Everybody want to erase history all the time because it expose how wicked they are no matter where they went. Right? So he's beating and whipping so the white man can make more money off your labor. Same way in the Congo, cutting off arms. You weren't working for to cut your hand off. All the kind of wicked shit. Go ahead, Joby.
Loved ones being torn away, sold off, and separated forever at their master's whim, creating psychological scars and
they still sell your family away someplace else in the country. Your daughters, your wife, whoever. They would sell your children off. You in Louisiana, sell your children to Virginia. Back then, you know where the fucking Virginia was at. Sell your kids, you're in Virginia, sell your kids goddamn to Alabama. You don't know, you're a slave, you can't lead a plantation, never see your children again. The children and your children's children are all property of these wicked motherfuckers. And they tell you today, oh, it wasn't as bad as all that. That's the shit they try to tell you while they try to erase your history. It wasn't all that bad. It was most evil, wicked as shit. Oh, it wasn't all that bad. Black people were happy to be slaves. Sound crazy as cat shit.
This stark and
happy without having freedom. It's crazy.
Humbling slave quarters life was
a
testament.
That's what they say, Joe.
Enslaved black men, women, and children endured unimaginable hardship.
You wanted to work for free for these people and be whipped and raped and beat. You was happier. That's crazy.
Systematically stripped away through relentless deprivation and oppressive surveillance embedded into the plantation's architecture itself. Yet, As tensions grew across America, the eruption of the Civil War in 1861 thrust plantations like Nordway into uncertainty, threatening the very foundations of their existence and the complex systems of forced labor upon which they relied. Battles raged across the country, and freedom became entangled for millions of enslaved people, and the era of relentless oppression began to crumble. By the war's close in 1865, Nordway's plantation stood remarkably untouched, only bearing minor physical scars of the conflict. Only a stray grape shot lodged into a once pristine column hinted at the turbulent times that the mansion had endured. Yet, beyond this facade of longevity and grandeur, the harsh realities of the post-war South quickly closing in. For planters like John Randolph, they were once powerful and prosperous through enforced and unpaid labor of enslaved African Americans. The war's outcome shattered their economic dominance. Suddenly confronted with the abolition of slavery, Randolph and his contemporaries were met with a grim economic reckoning. Thousands of acres of cultivated fields they had relied on for enslaved labor dramatically shrunk, leaving owners burdened with mounting debts and dwindling fortune. Nordway's once thriving estate, spanning thousands of acres, was eventually reduced
because they didn't get no free labor. They white man couldn't do it himself. He couldn't go out there and build it and cultivate the land himself. Of course not. He couldn't work. Now he become poor. Oh, whitey daddy. I couldn't do no work. It's too much hard labor for me. Of course it is. Go ahead, Joe.
Across the South, plantation owners grappled desperately with ruin. The Southern economy staggered. Once wealthy planters faced an uncertain future. In response, Southern planters turned to a system that replicated slavery's profitability and sharecropping. Under this seemingly fair arrangement, black families would rent parcels of land,
another scam of slavery
of their harvest as rent. Yet quickly, sharecropping revealed an exploitative heart. Planners manipulated contracts, charged up exorbitant prices for supplies, enforcing unfair obligations and debt that became impossible to escape. Rather than freedom, sharecropping imposed a cycle of poverty, generational economic entrapment, and exploitation that mirrored slavery in all but the name.
And the law, the white law would enforce it, because if you tried to leave that fucking plantation, supposedly you were free, they would bring your ass back, say you gotta work here, we'll lock your black ass up. So you never really got free. Just like fake independence, you were given fake freedom. It's all fake. All fake.
Gotta be justice for all this. This cannot just go all in vain. These white people just there's gotta be justice for this. Universal justice, spiritual justice.
That's what's happening. Exactly right, Joe. That's what's happening.
The Southern economy was attempting to repair itself. A disturbing transformation began to take hold. Rather than
these kind of histories or things I bumped it, those are the things that mess up my mind. Even yesterday's video still is messing up my mind. How do black people get comfortable to sleep with white people? How
exactly? Some know the history, still do it. Some I'll say some don't, but some know that history, Joby. That's a good question. How? Exactly. Exactly.
Like, how do you still end up like messing up with a white woman, a white man?
Man, how do you got black women running around talking about, oh, I need my white man. You black men are sorry you couldn't protect us. Your white man should have power, and blah blah blah, and vice versa.
It still
but a black man talk. I know, same thing for the black man talking crazy about the black woman. It doesn't make any sense. Exactly, Joe. Go ahead.
Not excusable at all for you to still go mess up with your enemy.
Confronting the powerful truths of enslaved suffering, plantation estates and their wealthy owners gradually began to reinvent themselves, shaping a sanitized, romanticized mythology of the antebellum life. Vast mansions, sprawling gardens, and wide porches became symbols of imagined elegance and refinement. Brochures and postcards invited tourists across America to marvel at the South's supposed glory days. deliberately obscuring centuries of forced labor, violence, and hardship. By the turn of the century, places like Nordway have found themselves a new life, not through cotton or sugar, but as idealistic snapshots of the Old South, deliberately stripped of the brutality that created their wealth. Yet these romanticized narratives could not forever silence the truth. By the late 21st century, activists, historians, and descendants of enslaved individuals increasingly challenged these sanitized representations. Places like Nordway's grand weddings and luxury hotel stays became focal points of criticism and debate. Pressure mounted. Critics questioned why the lavish facade of wealth and refinement was celebrated so enthusiastically, while the spirits and lies behind that grandeur remained hidden, forgotten, and ignored. Then, May 15th, 2025, history would intervene. A fire broke out in a small second-floor bedroom, unnoticed at first, but swiftly growing. Flames soon engulfed the entire southern wing, consuming furniture and drapery, spreading passionately from room to room. After lengthy efforts from firefighters, Nordway's mansion was reduced to smoldering ashes by dawn. The mansion that once stood resiliently for 166 years was nothing more than fiery rubble. The loss of the mansion sent emotional tremors through Louisiana's community and the wider South. Some mourned the disappearance of beautiful architecture and craftsmanship. Others, the erasure of an economic symbol. Yet, for me, Nordway's destruction felt more symbolic, a purging of a site that had long obscured a miserable history beneath its deceptive charm. The fires did more than destroy brick and mortar. It burned away years of romanticized illusion and hollow nostalgia, laying bare a reality of exploitation and trauma concealed beneath. Just upriver, a contrasting reality stands in the Whitney Plantation, where the truth of enslavement isn't softened or romanticized. There are no weddings or photo ops. Instead, it presents enslavement in all its honesty and dignity, demanding the respect and reflection that it deserves. In Nordway's fiery loss, we are perhaps given an opportunity to honor the truth, to dismantle long-held fantasies, to reshape our collective memory, and to understand the breadth and depth of American slavery, uncovering the authentic narratives long hidden behind idealistic facades. Though the flames consumed the mansion that embodied generations of distorted storytelling, the true history, resilient, haunting, remains stubbornly alive. By confronting these painful truths, we ensure that its legacy, the real legacy, will never again be hidden behind columns and grand staircases. Thank you. I'm your host, Country Boy.
Yeah, literally. It's an amazing history, but also a painful one. But again, this is why you have to go back and reflect to all this. Again, like I keep saying, for you to understand what we're dealing with today and still the current behaviors, because a lot has not really changed. Their behaviors are still the same.
No, exactly. Never just imagine that. So supposedly they got done with slavery in 1865, right? Only 15 years later, they decided to go into Africa and slay the African on the continent. So they don't change. And we're going to, now it's time to, okay. And they just named slavery a different name, colonization. Same thing, they put Africans into slavery on the continent. It is called a colonization.
Exactly. That's literally just different terms, but same
thing. Exactly.
But the same, literally, when you talk about, again, Black history, there's again another one that I bumped into also today, talking about the Skollam masquerade that took place. I'm not sure specific the year, because bumped into the article that was not giving me full details, but I still managed to pull a couple of videos. So let me share this, and then we switch to Iran and what really happened.
To this day marks one of the worst days in East Texas history. The Black community in Slocum was gunned down and murdered. Many who survived fled to nearby towns, leaving behind their homes and their livelihoods. CBS 19's JJ Maldonado spoke with a descendant of one of the survivors and an author who's written extensively about the history in tonight's special report, The Slocum Massacre.
July 29th, 1910 was a day of bloodshed in Slocum, Texas.
In mobs ranging from dozens to hundreds, went around killing African Americans on sight.
Newspapers from around the state and country documenting one of the worst days in East Texas history.
Starting on the 29th and going into the 30th and then residually into the 31st, mobs of white folks who cut the phone lines in the area. There were phones. They cut the phone lines so that the blacks that lived there couldn't call out for help.
E.R. Bills is the author of the book, The 1910 Slocum Massacre, Enacted Genocide in East Texas. He's researched several massacres in the state and country as a journalist.
It was sort of shocking. I didn't know anything like that had ever happened in Texas. And just the fact also that it apparently had been covered up was sort of a shock to me.
The Slocum Massacre is believed to have been the result of hatred against the black citizens who were doing well in the community at the time. Bill says also an awful rumor had been circulating that the black community was going to rise and kill their white neighbors.
But it scared the white people enough that they took their kids and their wives and put them in churches and left white men outside to defend, reportedly. And then they went on a killing spree.
The official death count is listed as 8, although it's believed 200 to 300 Black East Texans were killed in those 3 days. One of the victims was Alex Hawley. Constance Hawley Joaid is a descendant of the Hawley family. Her great-great-great-grandfather was Jack Hawley, a survivor of the massacre.
Jack Hawley, who was the primary landowner and the owner of the only general store and many other businesses in Slocum at that time, and who was the primary target during the massacre. I am his great-great-great-granddaughter.
In the early 1900s, Jack Hawley was a successful businessman, which is not easy for someone enslaved.
If you never go, listen, exactly. For them, remember, causes white rage when you're not on the bottom. Now, if you understand what these people causes white rage, they get joy in seeing you all fucked up. You understand this? This is real. They get internal joy in seeing you impoverished, all fucked up, and beneath them. It's a sickness that they have. So him being a businessman, they're gonna come and attack it and destroy whatever. I never heard this thing, so I guess they would. What they do? Massacre the town? This over and over again. How many towns have they done this to? Because it's not, like I said, it's not just Black Wall Street they did it to. It's over and over and over and over. Every time we tried to build, they would come, blow it up, destroy it, and say somebody tried to rape some ugly white woman. Nonsense. You know, it's a lie. You tried to rape a white woman. No, that's the pretext they would give to come burn your shit down to the ground. Go ahead, Joby.
They were 19.
He started using his skills and his talents to make money for himself instead of
imagine that. The white man, exactly. Imagine that. How dare you, nigga, make money for you and not me? Your body and shit belongs to me, and you make money for me and mine. They really believe this. It's absolutely psychopathic.
Sick.
Slavery. And so he did that just a bit too well. He owned a general store, a granary, dairy.
He survived the genocide, but was forced to flee his Slocum home and move to Palestine.
See, so it was a genocide. See, they did try to genocide. Every time. We've got so many genocides, these white people in America killing. I don't even know all of them. This is a new one. I never heard of this one. Go ahead, Joe.
Many relatives.
Having to lose a child, and having a child shot and wounded like that, I can't imagine what that feels like. I have 2 children, and I don't want to think about that. But it is something
I'm coming to see you.
African parents, African American parents, Black parents are dealing with today, with their children being killed when they're not even armed, shot in the back or shot with not even being aggressive
while playing,
innocently shot. So 1910 to 2021, 111 years later, the same things are happening to us as parents, losing kids.
Today, Hawley Joaid is focused on keeping the history of the massacre memorialized. She was instrumental in getting a historical marker commemorating the deaths of her family members and so many others who were innocently shot and killed. The marker sits along a stretch of a long road in Slocum, and on every July 29th, Holly Jawai, along with many others, get together to remember the victims who died because of the color of their skin.
From the Slocum Massacre, I would like everyone to know the importance of remembering, regardless of what others around you tell you to do. And if a people forgets their history or forget their history, they are destined to repeat it. And we don't want that.
Exactly.
We don't want that.
We got you covered, East Texas. JJ Maldonado, CBS 19.
In Slocum, Texas, hundreds of black residents were slaughtered, but erased from history. Share this if truth should never be erased. In 1910, Slocum, Texas was a thriving black community, with residents owning their own homes and land. But on July 29th, a violent white mob formed, and the reason is still debated. They went on a rampage, killing an...
It's because they were black and they were rich and they had their own land, not being debated. It's very clear.
Unknown number of black men, women, and children. Survivors fled for their lives, abandoning everything, their homes, their farms, their entire way of life. The official death toll was a gross understatement, and local papers buried the story, ensuring the massacre would be forgotten. The Slocum Massacre was a brutal act of racial and economic terrorism. It wasn't just about violence. It was about destroying a thriving black community and seizing their land.
Always about stealing your shit, killing you, stealing your land. Over and over. I never heard about this one. Over and over and over and over and over and over. So that's why we say, do we know these people? Yes. Other black people glow. We know these people. When we try to teach you, listen to us. We know these people. Go ahead, Joe.
Hideous part of this crime was the deliberate historical erasure. For more than a century, the story was denied and hidden. A second act of violence
I never heard
robbed
of it.
the victims of their legacy. Why do you think entire massacres like this vanish from history books? Let me know in the comments.
Because because over and over again they keep making a fake history of them being good people and shit. Lies. They keep trying to change history and lie about shit because they're wicked. Because they're not wicked. They're evil. It's a level of evilness. Go ahead, Joey.
Massacre, Texas, 1910. They killed 200 black people, and it barely made the news. In 1910, white mobs in Slocum, Texas murdered up to 200 black residents after rumors spread about black success and land ownership. Survivors fled. No one was punished. No reparations. To this day, most Texans have never heard of it. Why? Because admitting a massacre means admitting guilt. Follow if this was never in your history textbook.
Of course not.
But yeah, there's a bit of history literally to share those two, and you can see it literally again, all about black people being tortured. Black history, literally black history itself, and majority which has been so much hidden. So many people don't know. This is crazy. And then again, you ask yourself, how do you even have the audacity of sleeping with your enemy? I don't know. Fathom that. I judge women I see online with Wazungu every time, and they think it's a flex. And the fact that I don't, because I know too much, I'm like, man, I really feel pity for you. I really, really do feel pity for you, because you've destroyed your own lineage, even by especially giving birth to them, having a child with them. You've destroyed your own lineage. It's crazy. But as we get into Iran situation, we have, of course, Iran, which has warned America of attacking their major companies. But before I get into that, I think I'm going to share these other videos of what is currently happening, and then I'm going to shift into that because I read that article
Airplane day across large swaths of Israel already today, as Iran has sent missile aimed at Israel. 5 alerts, as I count them, here in Tel Aviv itself, and some of those did have an impact. At this point, an 11-year-old girl is critically wounded. A 13-year-old boy is also seriously wounded, as we understand it. And as the residents of Israel deal with this, as the Passover holiday begins...
It's crazy when
fuck out of here.
We love exaggerating how the children are being and all that.
We don't give a shit because you didn't care about murder. Listen, your fake pleas for sympathy, people don't care. They seen your wicked shit you've been doing, all the wicked shit you've been doing, killing kids. You once started this war against Iran, bombing innocent schoolgirls. I'm gonna have Joey put up that new Lego video that Iran used. Play this one. I'm gonna have you look up, say the Iranian Lego video of the little girl going to school. And it's, you did that, but you were talking about, oh, look at our 12-year-old kid. Who gives a shit about your 12-year-old kid, 11-year-old kid? You started this war. You started killing innocent people. Then you always want to play the sympathy card. The most wickedest motherfuckers on the planet. Straight evil. Wait, Iran killed a 12-year-old child. Wait. It's war. The war that you started. So please.
At the stop sign, turn right onto Unaroyal Drive. Then at the next light, you will turn right. After the railroad crossing, turn right onto I-35 Frontage Road. Then you'll take a slight left onto the I-35 North, US 83 North ramp.
Oh, started from the beginning. I know you started playing it. Started from the beginning. I know you started playing it. I thought you still playing the other one. Yeah, there we go. Here we go. Little girl getting up, going to school. She knows she's gonna be murdered today, and this is real. She knows she's gonna be murdered today, going to school, playing with her friends. That Israel and America is gonna come bomb our fucking school. You want somebody to feel sympathy for you, and understand they know our systems are so advanced. We know what the fuck we're blowing up. So to pretend like they didn't know, we know. All our systems are highly advanced. We know what the fuck we're shooting at and when we're shooting at it. So they meant to blow up these children. Because they were trying to demoralize the Iranians, right? Everybody run around blowing up schools still now and blowing up hospitals. These are supposed to be crimes of humanity. But of course they own the UN. So they're not being charged with crimes against humanity. Blowing up schools, hospitals, and shit. That's what they've been doing. That's why the censorship has been so strong in these wicked motherfuckers talking about, oh, we're doing a great job. We got Trump, idiotic, moronic, despotic, dementia-ridden ass talking about we're doing a very good job. And then we did a regime change and talking to new people. These are psychopaths. And we're talking about literally that they've killed little children. Don't feel nothing. I mean, Joey said, what about the humanity? They're not human. That's why. These not human beings you're fucking with. They don't have the same humanity you got. And Africans, you better realize that. It shows you through slavery. They don't have the humanity that you have. Okay? You understand that? They don't have your humanity. That's not in their makeup. So they can bomb and blow up children and don't even think about it. Go to sleep, just blow them up. Well, and then they'll tell you, well, maybe Iran did it. Maybe Iran blew up their own kids. Say all this crazy shit like that to you. Maybe Iran blew up their own kids. You know. Go ahead, Joby. Go ahead. Get off the school bus. Little girl knows she's gonna be murdered today. So that target system, that missile has a target system. They knew they were shooting at. And this is the kind of people, like you said, these are the Epstein class. They don't give a fuck about no kids, eating them, fucking them, killing them. This is the Epstein class, as Iran is rightfully calling them. This is the Epstein class that rule this world and rule the West. That's a fact. But go ahead, Joby.
This is crazy. Yeah, but back at this, bombing children and all that. Let's listen.
President Trump is saying that the war, at least the U.S. role in it, could be over very soon. Here's the president.
I think it's 2 or 3 weeks. If it is, we'll leave because there's no reason for us to do this. Now it's possible that we'll make a deal before that because we'll hit bridges and we've hit some. We'll hit some bridges. Got a couple of nice bridges in mind.
That's crazy, Sam.
If they come to the table, that'll be good.
And to keep encouraging Iran to come to the table, the U.S. and Israel are continuing their strikes in Tehran and beyond. As always, it seems in this, military and regime targets top of the list. Some underground targets, we understand it, hit by Israeli forces. And Secretary of State Marco Rubio says that kind of destruction will continue. Here's the Secretary of State.
We are going to destroy their Air Force. We have largely done that. We were going to destroy their Navy, which we have largely achieved that. We were going to destroy a significant percentage of their missile launchers. We are well on our way to achieving that.
And as I mentioned, at sunset today here, that is lunchtime, East Coast time.
Ooh, bestie, let me tell you, they done pissed off Iran. Let's get into it. So they hit the Ben Gurion airport. They hit the Haifa oil refinery. Hundreds of missiles are raining down on Tel Aviv. Let's take a quick look.
Crazy.
Iran has got them in a fury. They introduced a new missile where I have footage you'll see right now. It clearly, swiftly, and smoothly goes around both interceptors. Watch this. While Iran stands on business, Lebanon's holding their weight. Okay. The Iraqi resistance is doing all they can. We see you, cuz. While their airports are on fire, their oil refineries on fire, the spilled blood of their soldiers is still warm, Ben Gvir is out here popping champagne in celebration to the new Knesset law that's allowing him to execute Palestinian hostages. In case you forgot, that's still going on. I'm Messi Moore. If you like my content, please do all 4 and follow me. Help me grow my account. Thank you, bestie. Bye.
Breaking news, in the last 16 hours, it has been crazy for the U.S. and Israel. I'm going to run you down a list of what's going on. Iran bombed Israel's Teva pharmaceutical factory, the largest generic drug manufacturer on earth, causing chemical leaks, secondary explosions, and the factory burning. They also knocked out an Israeli power plant in the Negev completely offline and carried out 27 strikes on the Negev with 0 visible air defense activations, not 1 interception, nothing. Iran struck the Haifa Port oil refinery, and stocks collapsed 4% within hours. U.S. bases were hit simultaneously in Kuwait, Bahrain, UAE, and Saudi Arabia. 4 countries in one coordinated attack. Iran announces it will begin bombing the personal homes of U.S. and Israeli military commanders and claims full control of the Strait of Hormuz. 40% of the world's seaborne oil goes through that strait. Yemen has entered the war on Iran's side, and Iraq has entered the war and is sending aid to Iran. In Lebanon, breaking news in the last 16 hours, it has been crazy.
Israel is collapsing. They want to seem like they're really strong and that they're actually winning this war against Iran. That is not the case. First off, we even have an Israeli army chief saying that the army is close to collapse because they do not have enough soldiers. One of the reasons for this is because Israel has simply stretched itself out too thin. It's occupying new areas in Gaza, the West Bank, Syria, and Lebanon. But in doing so, that requires a lot of soldiers to be there to then occupy and invade these countries. It is, of course, not only occupying those areas, but fighting different resistance groups there, along with, of course, fighting this war against Iran, as well as Yemen most recently. And with all this fighting, many soldiers are, of course, losing their lives. But even beyond the battlefield, many are also losing their lives when they return back home, choosing to end their lives as a result of the PTSD they experience because of the various war crimes they have committed. Second off, though, Israel is also collapsing because it is running out of interceptors to stop Iranian drones and missiles. This is according to the Wall Street Journal, a most recent report, but myself and others predicted that this would happen almost a month ago. The reason for this is because Iran is able to actually send out missiles and drones that are, relatively speaking, quite cheap and that can be manufactured on an ongoing basis. But in contrast, in order for Israel to stop these drones and missiles, it needs to rely on interceptors that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and are not easily replaceable. And because of this, we're now seeing Iran being able to increasingly be successful in its strikes against Israel. But finally, the last thing I want to talk about is that we're, for the first time since the Iranian war begun, starting to see major protests against the war in Israel. Now, these protesters that are out there, they're not humanitarians. They're not protesting this war because they care about Iranians or Palestinians. What they are worried about only is about Israel itself. They are worried that...
I wonder where they're getting time to protest. While we saw last week, actually, they were fleeing using a ship. And I reported on Monday, we have over 120,000 of them who are currently in Uganda. And remember, Israel is also has already purchased actually 500 acres of land in Kenya. So I wonder where they're protesting, which street.
Israel is not going to be successful in this conflict. But the reason why the war matters for this sake is because it shows that Israel is a very divided...
I said 120,000 of them. Did I say that? 120,000, yeah.
Society. A poll last year found that around 60% of Israelis believe that their country is on the brink of civil war. Right now, of course, most Israelis do support the war against Iran. But as that war continues, you're going to see that the existing divisions in the Israeli settler society are only going to become bigger and bigger. So for these three reasons, because the army doesn't have enough soldiers, there's not enough interceptors, and the society is becoming increasingly divided, Israel is starting to collapse.
But I also want to I want to share the lies that Trump has been telling since the beginning of this war in collection. The first video and also what people were saying.
The Navy is gone. The Navy is gone. So they have no...
The Navy.
The Navy is gone. So they have no Air Force. They don't have an Air Force. Their anti-aircraft equipment is gone. Their anti-aircraft equipment. They have no radar. Their radar is entirely gone. Their radar is gone. Their Navy is gone. 24 ships in 3 days. We've knocked out 42 Navy ships, some of them very large, in 3 days. They have 32 ships. All 32 are at the bottom of the ocean.
Can you imagine this moron is the head of the most powerful military in the world? This idiot who's failed at everything he's ever touched. This moron. This is absolutely crazy. That's how good propaganda can work. That this moron has been made president when he's failed at everything. He's an idiot. And I mean, literally, they already know he's literally an idiot. And everybody around him, Hexep is a moron, an idiot. Marco Rubio is an idiot. You got idiots that shouldn't be managing the KFC. Now head of the most powerful military in the world and don't know what the fuck is going on. And just saying crazy shit. This is how you know you're at the end of an empire. Trump could never these people could never be elected 50 years ago. Even though America was corrupt, it was competent, right? It might have been corrupt and evil, but it was at least competent. These people are incompetent white people. They're the worst of the worst. We go ahead, Joby.
It's almost 50 ships. I was just notified it's 51. The Navy is gone. It's all lying at the bottom of the ocean. 46 ships. Can you believe it?
Can you believe it?
This is going to hit you whether you are MAGA red, deep Democrat blue, or you just don't follow politics at all. It doesn't matter what team you're rooting for in the NCAA championship. This still lands on you. So I asked earlier, do you have war fatigue? Do you have Trump fatigue? Do you have news fatigue? All of that I understand, especially after No Kings. Like you're just like, I'm done. 8 million people showed up. A lot of you watched right here on our channel. Donald Trump is lying to you. This could cost Donald Trump his presidency, and it could cost us our safety and our stability, because he keeps saying that the United States is negotiating with Iran, but Iran keeps saying that they have no idea what he is talking about, no idea who he's talking to. They're not hinting, they're not being vague about it, none of that. They say that he is flat out lying, and that is not happening.
China and Russia are sitting on the sidelines monitoring everything. They're in close touch with the government. They're providing satellite intelligence, which accounts for some of the tremendous successes, particularly in Israel and on our U.S. bases. All of our bases have been destroyed. Our harbor installations are destroyed. We're actually having to fall back on India and Indian ports, which are less than ideal. That's what the Navy says. And I think Iran, much to our disappointment, is faring very, very well.
The war in Iran is raging out of control, and it's exposing just how Donald Trump is lying to the American people about how bad it's really going. On Monday, Trump claimed that U.S. forces had destroyed Iran's Navy, Air Force, and other military installations, saying that the country had been so thoroughly decimated that there was simply nothing left to target.
Past 11 days, our military has virtually destroyed.
That crazy talk.
Their Air Force is gone.
This is Baghdad Bob.
They no longer have radar. They don't have anti-aircraft equipment. They don't have anything.
Now,
I love Trump's voice though.
here's the reality of what's happening today, Wednesday.
It's crazy people
report
talk.
from the UK says 3 cargo ships were attacked and hit by projectiles close to the Straits of Hormuz.
Iranian drones struck oil storage facilities in the port of Salalah. Some damage was recorded. We've seen plumes of smoke and a fire coming from these facilities.
And despite the massive threats Iran has made to any ship traveling through the Strait of Hormuz, President Donald Trump thought it was a good idea to go on TV to say that those ships should, and I quote, show some guts and go through the strait.
Are you talking to CEOs of various oil companies, encouraging them to use the Strait of Hormuz right now?
I think they should. I think they should use it. So go through the strait. And, that's just part of it. If you want to diminish the Iranian threat, if you want to make sure that this ends up with complete Iran capitulation, sow some guts and go through that strait and do
what they said?
And again,
that crazy
here's
style.
the reality.
Don't do that. Show some guts. These are the psychopaths. Because they're all right. Why we're not winning? Why we're not being to blow and kill up people? We're losing. Just go to the straits. What?
What's happening today, Wednesday.
I'm going to show you a map of the approximate locations of these attacks on ships today in the Strait. A reminder, some 20 million barrels of fuel a day move through this critical shipping route, and it is clearly, effectively remains shut down because of this very real threat.
And on the first day of the war, do you remember the Iranian drone attack in Kuwait that killed 6 U.S. service members? Well, that was actually much worse than initially reported.
Yeah, this is that drone strike at the beginning of this operation that killed 6 U.S. service members. And we're learning more details than had been previously known about the severity of those injuries. We know that those that have been injured had to receive hospital care. Some sent to the U.S. to San Antonio.
Some sent to Germany. Some sent to San Antonio. I didn't know. But remember, they classified that. So you didn't know who's even getting killed. They classified that. How crazy is that? So you don't even know. This is crazy. Go ahead.
Here in the D.C. area, but at least 25 had to go to a regional medical center in Germany. And we have learned per this reporting from our colleagues that 20 were transported with injuries the military designated as, quote, urgent and required evacuation. That includes traumatic brain injuries, memory loss, concussions. And this is just the most detail we've gotten on the physical toll of that strike. As we're learning also from the Pentagon earlier this week that 140 American service members have been injured so far.
And now, even our own FBI is warning U.S. citizens that there are legitimate threats of Iranian drone strikes targeting cities in California.
Now pause
That's
that.
California.
Now you know this is lies. So you know this is what they call false flag attacks. You're California. So we know 9/11 was the same cats with the hats. So this is the cats with the hats. These are called false flags that they'll kill some Americans. We're gonna kill Iran. They killed Americans. But you know it's them that did it. These are false flag attacks. Why the hell would Iran? How the hell would Iran have drones all the way over in California? It ain't make any sense. But they'll say it hit somewhere else. So get ready for a false flag attack because we're losing, guys. So get ready for a false flag attack because we're losing the war. They need a false flag attack to get you hyped about keeping the war going. They say, we got to go. Look what Iran did there. And it's them that did the shit. Okay? So they're going to need everybody telling you they own all the media. It's a drone attack in California. What? How the hell is Iran getting drones all the way to California? Oh, they don't have the capacity. They're looking for a false flag, guys. Go ahead, Joe.
In the United States of America.
FBI warning of possible Iranian drone attacks on our homeland. A new alert reviewed by ABC News revealing Iran's aspirations to conduct a surprise attack specifically against unspecified targets in California. The FBI
this is all lies. I want you to listen. Remember, they control all the media. This is all lies. All of it. All lies. All propaganda. They own all the media. We got to attack that Iran is going to try to do drone attacks in California. Not California. This is to get you scared, and they're going to do it and blame it on Iran. This is a false flag. So now you're back to war against Iran. They're doing it. These are called false flag attacks. All the media, it's all a lie. All of it. Go ahead, Joby.
Departments across the Golden State now of strikes by unmanned aerial vehicles or drones as tensions rise in the Middle East.
Okay, let's ask the question. How did they get there? How did Iran get drones all the way to California? Huh? They can't. They don't got the technology, so that's a lie. So we're looking for a false flag. So guys, get ready for a false flag attack if they're going to blame on Iran. That's what they need because they know this is an unpopular war. It's an illegal war to begin with, so they're going to need a false flag. Go ahead, Joby.
All these new details coming out, the question begs to be asked. If we really did destroy Iran's military capabilities, why do they have the world frozen in fear with their drones, missiles, and mines? And why is the U.S. and the rest of the world spiraling towards economic disaster with the Strait of Hormuz completely shut down? This sure doesn't feel like winning. And if you want to receive more late-breaking news, please don't forget to subscribe, follow.
Your government is lying to you, and the mainstream media is helping them do it.
That's super
Because they own the mainstream media.
for clicks and views. I understand that sentiment, but I dare you. Go ahead and read the headlines right now. Search breaking news, Iran. From ABC News, Iran live
All
updates.
lies.
Trump says, quote, no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. The more conservative Fox News, Trump says U.S., quote, continues to demolish Iranian forces as video shows American fire.
All lies.
The super liberal news, MS Now, says Iran live updates. Trump demands Iran's, quote, unconditional surrender. The president vowed that the U.S.
Pause
and
it.
its allies,
See, that's how you know there's no left or right. They tell you left or right news. There's no such thing. They control all the media. That's why they went out and got TikTok. They control all the narratives, all lies, all the time. All lies. And all lies all the time. Go ahead, Joby. I don't see Joby.
From the brink of destruction. And CBS, which we know now resides in Trump's back pocket, says Hegseth says U.S., quote, just getting started in Iran war as conflict intensifies and spreads. That's fine. Those headlines can say whatever they want. But I've taken the time to do the research, and I've grabbed the numbers, and I've looked at maps, and I am prepared to lay out an argument for all of you that will certainly have you thinking differently than these headlines. First, let's start with the size of both Iran and the United States. Behind me is a map of the United States, and the pink outline is how big Iran is. So as you can see, Iran is much smaller than the United States in the sense that you could probably fit at least two of them inside the United States. But let's talk about square miles versus the number of soldiers they have. Iran is the 17th largest country in the world with a square mileage of 636,372 square miles. The United States is the third largest country with a size of 3,796,742 square miles. In terms of the size of their troops, Iran has roughly 600,000 active troops with an additional 350,000 in reserves, coming to a total of 950,000 troops. But we can't just talk about Iran's troops because they have a number of allies in the Middle East. They have Syria, Lebanon, Gaza, Palestine, Yemen, and various militias throughout Iraq. This all forms together to become something known as the Axis of Resistance, which roughly adds up to between 1 and 1.5 million fighters. On the other hand, the United States has an active duty count of between 1.3 and 1.4 million troops. They also have a reserve and National Guard that adds up to about 770,000 additional troops. And if you can do quick math, you will see that there are roughly 2.1 million fighters, 2.1 million troops for the United States. Keeping in mind that we cannot send all 2.1 million abroad over to the Middle East because we have things like boots on the ground in Ecuador and other parts of the world. In terms of population density, we then need to also look at the size of Iran and the size of the United States versus their number of troops. So in Iran, you have an equivalent of about one soldier for every 1 square mile, whereas in the United States, you have one soldier.
Pause it. Ladies, shut up. You know what you're talking about. So let's hate when novice never been in the military. It's not the numbers of troops either. They have more than enough numbers, but you're invading a country. So that means you be fighting them and their people. I've been to war, you bumblehead moron. You're fighting them and their people. So it's not you're talking about they got a 1 million man standing army. You're fighting the whole country because you've invaded the country. So every woman, man, child is your enemy. And they will be looking to kill you with whatever they can pick up and hurl at your ass. Knives, sticks, forks, whatever. Go ahead, player. Go ahead, Joby.
9 square miles, almost 3 miles. So their ratio in Iran is much better. Now that we know all of that math, I want to look at our presence in the Middle East. The United States has roughly 19 military sites and or bases throughout the Middle East.
It's all been destroyed.
Behind me shows a number of them. Both the blue and the red are military sites or bases. The red indicates where in this war we have already been struck, and the blue represents where we have not. There are key bases that we need to pay attention to as this war has begun, and these are Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, UAE, Jordan, Iraq, and Israel, which is a brand new site for the United States as of 2026. If you're wondering how much money went into the building of all of these bases and sites across the Middle East, since 9/11, taxpayers like you and I, US citizens who work in the United States, have spent roughly $6.4 trillion on wars and military action throughout just this region alone. Now let's look at the strategy Iran is bringing to these military bases abroad, because there is evidence that is not being talked about very much in the mainstream news to prove that we are in fact losing. Yes, we are losing. Let me explain how I know. So let's talk about what has been
pause it. And the sad fact, unless you people look at the news like my brother, the rest of the goofy Americans, they get all this fake ass news, this fake propaganda. You look at the news, it's so crazy in America, this propaganda. We're winning and we're fighting, troops on the ground. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's why I said this country cannot survive. This country's gonna collapse because all the institutions are rotten. When you have all institutions that do not work, that all promote graft and lies, your country's hollowed out. America's hollowed out as an empire. It's going to collapse because you got nowhere where you get any truth at. You don't know what the fuck is even going on because everybody's lying to you about everything. This is like some shit in Africa. This is third world shit where you got no truth ever. You don't know what the hell is going on. A country cannot sustain itself built on all lies. It will collapse. Especially if you got an empire. Go ahead, Jobin.
Far. We know that in Bahrain, we have the U.S. Fifth Fleet headquarters, and there we know that two satellite communications terminals and several large buildings have either been destroyed or damaged. We don't have the specific reports on that, but at the very least, they are damaged. We also have, and I'm going to butcher some of these names, I'm so sorry, Camp Arifajan in Kuwait, where we have those 6 reported dead military service men and women. I personally believe there are many more than that, but this is what the mainstream media has told us. We also have Ali Al Salam Air Base, which is in Kuwait, and there we had a collapsed rooftop in multiple points caused by strikes from Iran. We have Camp Buring in Kuwait, where a drone exploded in its perimeter. Erbil Air Base in Iraq, where 4 structures were damaged or destroyed, and fires are still burning there. We have Jebel Ali Port in the UAE, where smoke is rising from a building in the U.S. Navy wreck zone. And then we have Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, where $1.1 billion worth of an AN/FPS-132 early warning radar system was struck and damaged. In addition, we have also seen several U.S. embassies sustain strikes from Iran, as well as at least one confirmed CIA station. Now, you have to ask yourself, what is the strategy here? What is Iran doing? Because Iran is not at this moment focused on killing American and Israeli troops. They're not. They are taking out specific regions, specific places, specific bases. And what they are doing is they are attacking our communication systems. I had to do a lot more digging, but this is how we know they are trying to make us blind and deaf so we can't know what is going on throughout the Middle East. If we dig a little bit more and search for more facts, here's what you will find. The Fifth Fleet headquarters had 2 AN/GSC-52B satellite communications terminals destroyed. These terminals provide high-speed, near real-time connectivity. In Qatar, which is the regional headquarters for Central Command, we saw that a tent surrounded by satellite dishes was destroyed and or damaged. Again, we don't have extensive information on this, but we do know that we had satellite dishes damaged there. Camp Arifjan, again, I'm so sorry, I'm butchering these names, in Kuwait had 3 radomes, protective structures for long-distance communications, either damaged or destroyed. Ali Al Salam in Kuwait had 8 or more buildings near satellite communications infrastructures damaged or destroyed. Again, details are still surfacing about that. In Jordan and the UAE, radar systems for THAAD missile defense batteries worth roughly $500 million have been damaged as well. And on top of this, we are also looking at the possibility of cyber attacks, either at home here in the United States or abroad at some of these military bases. But due to furloughs, because remember, we were getting rid of all the waste, fraud, and abuse in Washington, D.C., our U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Agency has reduced its capacity, and now we are facing an increasing numbers of Iranian hackers. So yes, Iran and any other of their allies who are in this fight with them are trying to make the United States and Israeli militaries blind and deaf in the middle of a region that is not home to them. This is guerrilla warfare. So then the question becomes, why are we being hit so much? We shouldn't be if we have defense missiles. And here is the reality. It comes down to a simple math problem. The math problem is a word problem. And it says, if Iran produces over 100 missiles per month and the US produces 6 to 7 interceptors, which are designed to take out those missiles that are incoming from Iran, can you win a war? The math answer is no. So then according to that math problem, you have to think as a taxpayer, is this war even worth it from a financial perspective? Because we taxpayers are funding the war with our tax money. And according to that math problem, we can't out-defend Iranian offensive missiles. And if you look at the spend, you'll learn that offensive missiles typically cost a few $1,000s to make, which in the world of war is just a few pennies. Whereas defensive missiles, the ones that we're trying
Cost
to create, that
millions.
we can only create 6 to 7 of per month
A
because
year.
they are so complex, they're also incredibly expensive. They cost millions of dollars. So every time we shoot one of those off, we are quite literally burning through millions of dollars. Okay, so it doesn't look like missiles are going to work out in our favor. What about putting troops on the ground? Because Hegseth hasn't ruled out those boots on the ground invasion type of operations. Knowing the number of soldiers per square mile in Iran and knowing their military capabilities in terms of missiles, can we invade them? The answer is no. If we tried to even put 100,000 troops on the ground to invade Iran, it would be a bloodbath. Those people would die, and they would die quickly. And if you want to
Exactly.
argue the point that, yeah, we could get them on the ground, my question would be how? Because you're going to get struck by a missile before you can even drop them off. And even if you were able to drop them off, you really think that our troops and Israeli troops stand a chance against a massive military force who has been for 30 years preparing
Waiting
for
for
this
you.
very moment, knowing what Netanyahu has wanted to do, and who
Exactly.
is very familiar with the landscape of Iran and the environment and the climate and all of the other things. We would be utterly destroyed. It would be a suicide mission. What happens next? What does this mean? I can't tell you 100% for certain because we're dealing with Trump and Netanyahu, both of whom are narcissists who exist in this sort of alternate reality where they are simply power hungry, money hungry, oil hungry, and want to stay out of prison. So they will keep this going as long as physically possible. They don't care how many people die or fall in this war because they don't have that mental capacity or that empathy. It is all about them and playing Battleship, I guess, or a video game with real life human beings and real life money and real life resources. Okay. But what I can tell you for sure what you can expect here on the home front. Number one, it is costing taxpayers in the United States $900 million each and every day that this war wages on. That means we are fronting the bill of billions of dollars per week. That's one thing. As a result, you're going to see different things happen. You can expect a gallon of gas to cost anywhere from $4 to $5. You can expect renewed inflation, which is going to have MAGA supporters, even if it's not externally, internally rethinking their votes because the Biden excuse will eventually wear out even for them. We can expect that there may be cyber attacks on water or power grids. That's because CISA, again, is super understaffed and they're using any efforts they have in that overseas to try and get military forces the information that they need. They're not worried about home, and there aren't enough people to worry about both. We can also expect to see domestic terrorist attacks and overall massive bills across the board. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments.
So we're gonna switch and see now on this other end the warning that Iran has given. That was hours ago about attacking. That is they're saying Iran just named 18 American companies as a legitimate military target. We have Apple, Google, Microsoft, Nvidia, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Tesla, Amazon, Boeing, JP Morgan. The deadline tonight, that is tonight on 1st April at 8 p.m. And the article that I have on my tab also says Iran just, they're saying that the deadline is tonight 8 p.m. Tehran time. Employees were told to evacuate the residents within 1 kilometer told to leave. And also saying that the IRGC published the first list through its official outlet, SEPA News, and they're saying for every assassination, a U.S. company will be destroyed. The full list is we have the Cisco, HP, Intel, Oracle, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Meta, IBM. We have Delhi.
And they should have been did that. You want to assassinate us and all of this, like that's right. That's how you finally play hardball. All your companies, we will kill the people of the companies. We will goddamn destroy your companies in this part of the region. They will not exist. You keep assassinating our people, this is what we're going to do. So shout out to Iran for smart, finally understanding it. And that goes right. I told you, you're going to have terrorist attacks in the United States. It won't be Iran. It'll be us doing it, false flags. And then blaming Iran. We'll be the ones responsible. Go ahead, Jim.
Iran just issued a new warning, and this one isn't just about missiles. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps says it may target U.S. companies operating in the Middle East if the U.S. continues what it calls targeted assassinations of Iranian leaders.
Yep.
This comes after recent strikes tied to Iranian officials and regional
You should have been to this. That's how white people fight. They fight. It's all gloves off. You guys, Iran, y'all trying to be moral. Fuck morality don't work with these people. You got to do you got to do gloves off. You got to punch them in the mouth. Okay, you're going to keep killing our leaders, assassinating people. Okay, we're just going to destroy your companies. See, you go after these people economy. That's all they've ever known. You go after the economy, you put some act. That's the only act right they ever have. Because remember, they stole the world's wealth. You fuck with their economy, they get to acting right. Because they don't want to be on the bottom economically. You know, how dare they mess with they'll sound all fake and righteous. How they dare they mess with civilian property? What's that got to do with anything? These are civilian properties. These are your properties. These are American companies. You're at war with us, you're bombing all our shit. The smithereens, they're fair game. Hell you talking about? See, white people, they can kill anybody and do what they want to do. And if you have the wherewithal to do it to them, they go crazy. How you would? Because they only think they're the only ones get to kill and rob and steal, since they've been the ones been doing it for 500 years, and no one can punch them in the mouth. So Iran has had the capability of doing it. And how dare, like how dare you? Who do you think you are, Iran? You poor backward ass country. Who do you think you are? Fighting a big bad America. I'm white. You understand that? You're some Middle Eastern half brown person. Go ahead, Joby.
And they're not talking about small players. Companies like Apple, Microsoft, Google, Tesla, Nvidia, and Boeing have been named in multiple reports.
And I hate to tell you, Iran is saving the whole world. Remember, this is the wicked control system they're trying to build. Iran, please bomb and blow it all the fuck up. Blow all that shit up. This is the control system that the cats with the hats are trying to build globally with these companies. It's a control system to lock everybody down to 15-minute cities. Iran, blow it the fuck up, all of it. Blow that shit up. See, they're gonna stop because they're gonna say, hey, Trump, stop, don't do no more. Iran, blow it up. You're saving the world. Go ahead, Joby.
It's tied to the threat. The warning includes potential attacks on company facilities in the region starting around April 1st. This is a shift. Instead of just military retaliation, This moves into cyber and economic territory. Think data centers, infrastructure, supply chains, and physical locations tied to these companies. U.S. officials say they are monitoring the situation and preparing for possible retaliation. And here's the important part. There is no single, fully verified official list of 18 companies. Some names circulating online are inconsistent or include companies that aren't even US-based. So the threat is real, but the viral list is not confirmed. What this signals is escalation, a warning that this conflict could expand beyond the battlefield and into global markets and technology systems. And if that happens, the impact wouldn't stay overseas. It would ripple back here at home. This is one to watch.
So the IRGC published a list yesterday with 18 companies on it. Apple, Google, Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, Boeing, Palantir, and several others. Now I want to talk about this because cyber is one of the most devastating retaliatory cards that the IRGC has, and until now, they hadn't played it. Like the Houthis sitting out the first month of this war, the capability was always there. The question was timing, and the timing, it's possible, has arrived. Now, the message accompanying the list said that these companies play a major role in, quote, designing and tracking assassination targets, and declared that starting at 8 p.m. Tehran time on Wednesday, April 1st, for every Iranian killed, one of these facilities will face destruction. Now, that word destruction is doing a lot of work in this statement, and the deliberate ambiguity is the point. The IRGC is not specifying whether it means physical strikes on regional offices or cyber attacks on infrastructure. Both are on the table. Both are within their capability. The message also came with an evacuation warning, telling staff to leave buildings, telling nearby residents to move at least a kilometer away. And this suggests a kinetic intent for physical locations in the region. Several of these companies, including Oracle and Microsoft and Google, have offices in the UAE, but the cyber dimension is equally real and in some ways more dangerous. And I'll get to that in part 2. If we want to understand what this list is actually telling us, you have to look at who's on it. You have the obvious defense and intelligence architecture, Boeing, Palantir, General Electric. Palantir in particular has been singled out in Iranian commentary. It's the company that consolidates data from 11 US intelligence agencies, including the FBI and CIA, and runs it through AI analysis. Now, if you're the IRGC and you're trying to understand how Israel tracked your commanders, Palantir is the name you land on. But then you also have Apple, Tesla, and JP Morgan. This is consumer technology and finance. That's not necessarily military infrastructure, but it is about sending a message to the American economy, to American civilians, and to anyone doing business in the Gulf region with America. Now, inside pro-IRGC chat groups, the reaction to this announcement was not triumphant. It was confused and frustrated. Members were openly asking, why are we announcing this? Why are we giving them warning? Why are we following rules when the other side isn't? One user wrote simply, let's just strike without notifying. What kind of game is this? Now, that kind of internal friction is interesting because when the IRGC makes announcements like this, it's as much about domestic signaling and showing their own supporters that they have reach and that they're not finished, as much as it is about actually striking these targets. And whether the attacks actually follow is a separate question, and understanding what the IRGC can actually do in the cyber domain, I'm going to explain that in part 2.
The IRGC had just put 18 American companies on high alert, calling
Oh shit, I'm back, guys. I think Joby, let's see if the power went out for nothing. Give me a second. See if Joby's coming back. Oh, damn lights might have went on. I'm coming back. You guys give me a minute. You guys give me a minute. You guys let me know whether you can get to that. Whatever. You guys let me know whether you guys can hear me now. Put this in the chat room. I don't think we're gonna get Joby back. Might have texted me. Guys, let me know whether you guys can hear me at all. Maybe I'm fucked up. Anybody hear me? Anybody hear me? 1 2 1 2. Somebody can hear me. Shit. I'm gonna come back in. Okay, that's not you guys hear me. Okay. I got to go out and come back in. I've lost Joby. I don't know if the power went off over there or what. You know, I ain't got much time left anyway, but another 20 minutes. Yeah, like I was saying, this has been a war that they wanted to have for the longest time. And it's a war that Israel wanted to facilitate so it can really break Iran up and become the real hegemon in that area, right? It wants to become the real hegemon and support something called the Greater Israel Project. And so the whole thing about them stealing and grabbing land and becoming the main hegemon, so they have control of the resources of that area. So that's what we've been actually dealing with concerning this war. So, and since the media is all controlled by the same people, you're not supposed to say it, but this is a fact. You know, you don't get, so you have no truth coming out that this is an illegal war. That's why you see the UN, and none of them condemn is not real or America. They actually blame Iran for being attacked by America and Israel. And they keep saying the same fucking, all these people bad. You don't got to go attack a country because you say they're supposedly bad. Just because they're not part of the Rothschild banking scam and not in control. So to start this new world order, they must have all major countries under control. See, Palantir and all these American intelligence firms that are already over there. Because remember, all these Middle East countries are bootleg countries. They're controlled. There's not any freedom amongst any of them. So they thought they can go in and just bomb Iran and it would fall. They tried it last summer and then tried again now. And now they're getting their goddamn head handed to them. They don't care that it's wicked. Ain't it funny? It's wicked. This war is evil. But for them, evil doesn't never matters. Never matters how evil this war, the things that they do. Killing innocent men, women, and children. It's all justifiable from their propaganda. All these people out of control, all the rulers are bad, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's bad but them. They get to just go bomb innocent men, women, and children, blow them up in their bed, kill them. But the fact is that Iran has been preparing for this war really for about 35 years, to be honest. When we also did another wicked war against them through Iraq. If you guys don't know, we backed Iraq, right? We backed Iraq. We the ones funded Iraq. We the ones gave it weapons, right? We the ones gave the Iraqis weapons to go start a war with Iran because Iran had a revolution and kicked out the banking class. And that's unacceptable. If you guys don't know, the CIA wasn't created by no damn American government. It's created by the bankers of Wall Street. same motherfuckers that run the banks, to make sure their interests are always covered through any means necessary, private ops, whatever they got to do to make sure the money flows up to them. That's why they get to go in the countries, unstabilize them, steal their resources. That money keeps going to them, as the people sit and suffer in poverty and ignorance. Whole thing is this whole system to keep everybody mired in poverty and ignorance. So with Iran, it's gonna be a quick strike, and don't get it twisted. They blew that school up on purpose to send a message, like I said, to demoralize the Iranians and say you can't even protect your kids. They're just going blowing up your children. You imagine how evil you gotta be to sit there and make that a target on the first date because you were trying to send a message. You know, and it's all or nothing, right? We're willing to kill your children in their school. Doesn't matter. We're going to kill your children in their school if need be. So that's a sad fact. But so now they're trying to backstep. You got Trump saying all kind of crazy things. Oh, we've already did regime change. We've already won the war. We've already done everything. We're so big. We're so powerful. We're so good. You know, just every crazy thing in the book. Because if America was a righteous, just, upright country, Marco Rubio and Trump are supposed to be impeached right now and then taken to the Hague for war crimes. They've been bombing not just schools, they've been bombing hospitals and all other kind of targets that are civilian targets. And then tell the Iranians not to do the same. They've been doing it. Where's the fake United Nations at? Oh, that's an institution that they created. So it doesn't benefit nothing but white power and white supremacy. What it there to support. So why anybody said the UN doesn't make any sense. So it's been exposed what it is. So that's what I'm saying. So they're looking for an off-ramp because Iran has the ability now to destroy the whole world economy. Now that we got this moron as a president, it's absolutely insane. This is an idiot. People trying to say he has dementia. I don't think he has dementia yet. I think he's a psychopath. Trump is like most of these people that have been running this world, they're psychopaths. As Iran told, these are the same people part of the Epstein files that you can't get released. These are the same motherfuckers that have been eating babies. For real. See, no more allegedly. I said that for years. I was crazy. But there's no more alleged nothing. No more alleged nothing. Trump and his cohorts have been having sex with children and eating them. These are facts. Okay? No more alleged nothing. They're dealing with true psychopathy on a level that most people can't fathom. You know, that's why these files have been completely released. The wicked and the evil shit they've been doing. They call everybody else, these are religious, crazy people. Call the Iranians religious, crazy people. Everybody talking about their fake Jesus that they don't worship. You know, these motherfuckers worship Baal and all other kind of satanic shit. But white people they're so racist, they won't remove these people from power because they represent their white ideology of white supremacy. That's what we're dealing with, right? And that's why they're going to lose. And hopefully enough, they won't take down the world's economy with it. Because Iran said it's going to now start bombing hospitals. If you get fucked up over there, Iran says it's going to fire you in the hospital. They've been bombing innocent people in hospitals all throughout that big-ass country of Iran. They've been bombing universities. That's not on your news because they don't want you to know the criminality of these fucking wicked bastards. Why the hell would you be bombing universities and hospitals? They want to inflict this kind of pain on the country to make them heal. Then when you do it, oh, look at this. Oh. All right, guys, I'm in the backwoods. Can you guys hear me? I lost it. Can you guys hear me? My apologies. I'm in the backwoods. Can you guys let me know if you guys can hear me? I'm about to wrap this up anyway in about 10 more minutes. If my internet holds, I'm in the backwoods, so forgive me. So you get a steady diet of propaganda, of lies, right? And be careful. Be careful of your surroundings. Watch where you're at, guys, in America. If in America, watch where you're at. Beware of your surroundings. They will do a false flag and blame it on Israel. I mean, Israel, on Iran. They will do a false flag and blame it on Iran. So beware of your surroundings. Don't be in certain spaces that you think could be a terrorist attack with too many people there, right? They out of crowded places, okay? Stay away from crowded places. Because it's exactly what they want to do. So, the war's not going good for them, you know. Still enough, I'm sure they had to know they've had CIA and Mossad on the ground in Iran for years. So there's no excuse why they didn't know that Iran was already prepared for this aggressive attack on their homeland. Right? There's no way you could not have known this. There's no way you could not have known this. But your hubris and you underestimate people thinking they're third world people and we're gonna do what we want to do. And we're just gonna go bomb. Imagine this the psychopathy you have. You're just gonna go and bomb innocent men, women, and children. Fuck, it's always a sneak attack. You're supposedly right negotiating with them. Right again, I don't know why Iran tried to negotiate with them again after they got sneak attacked back in June of last year. But suppose they were still negotiating again and they got snuck attacked again. But everybody else is the crazy one. Everybody else is bad and evil. All this crazy propaganda. The American people are so propagandized. They don't know which way is up. But if you was a decent, righteous human being, you would know that you're not the right to go arm and attack innocent people unannounced, and then try to run around claim the victim when they fight you back. How dare they fight us back? How dare they blow up stuff that we're using to attack them? That's how crazy Europe and white people sound. How dare they attack their neighbors that their ground that we're using to attack them? How dare they try to bomb the very same place that we use to attack and fight them out? Why how dare them? That's how crazy as cat shit Europeans are. You know, how dare you defend yourself and take out the area that they've been using to attack you from? How dare you? Who do you think you are? You're supposed to just get punched in the face. Fall in line. It's absolutely crazy. And the sad fact, Iran, because of your politics, Iran is doing the world a favor. It's stopping these evil, wicked motherfuckers from setting up a global control system that they've been setting up through Palantir and all the intelligence agencies to lock the world down. They try to do it sneakily so you won't know. Never none of your news. Never talked about. No. Iran needs to blow that wicked shit up. God damn, it's wicked as fuck out here. Yeah. Like I'm in a damn windstorm or some shit. Over in South Texas, damn. So, like I said, you got goofy ass Trump to say, oh yeah, we won. We did regime change. And it's the same regime. What changes you done? What are you talking about? And since you don't have any real media, they can't ask him any real questions. He's in there talking about the ballroom. Oh, the ballroom. Oh, look at the ballroom. We got people getting murdered and blown up with this moron. Going to war. He's talking about a goofy ass Washington White House ballroom that they just denied his stupid ass, right? They just denied him the making of the ballroom because they told him, hey, stupid, this is not your house. You're just an occupant in the house for these 4 years. This is the people's house. You don't have the right not to go through Congress to ask to do changes in a house that you don't own. You out of your mind? You know, like we doing crazy talk. They ask his ass about casualty reports. Well, how many Americans have been injured? How many Americans have been hurt? Well, have you seen my new ballroom? Have you seen the pillars? It's going to be the best of the best. Jimmy Top best ballroom ever. Like what? I'm asking you about about war casualties. Yeah, but my ballroom is going to be the best ballroom ever of any president. It's going to be the best ballroom in history. And they're going to be building my library, my presidential library. It's going to be in Miami. Not like Obama's. Not like Obama's in a bad neighborhood. It's going to be in Miami. I'm going to build with a hotel. It's going to be it's going to be a museum, of course, but it's going to have a hotel with it. This motherfucker's absolutely bananas. He's out of his rabbit ass mind. This is a level of narcissism topped up with psychopathy that's off the charts crazy. You gonna go put on a uniform and die for him and it's not real? And as I said, you guys see that Israel wants us to go invade Iran, but they're not gonna use any of their troops. It's gonna be cannon fodder. That's how you know who controls the country. You would never allow a war that you started, a war of aggression that you started for another country, that they don't have no skin in the game. You mean Israel's not going to be participating in this invasion of Iran? Then neither will any of my goddamn people. Neither will any of my people will be going to fight for foreign power and get blown up. Oh yeah. Yeah, the Israelis won't be joining. How convenient. The Israelis won't be I can't get out my phone. Won't be joining the Iranian invasion. What a coincidence, huh? They wanted the war, they started the war, but they don't want no skin in the game getting their kids and their people blown the fuck up. They want us to be cannon fodder. I would respectfully decline to be in any of this shit. And also, do you guys see the you know they upped the enlistment age. They said old people from 42 down the graph that senior citizens can now join the military. And you know, got Joe been I was looking at this TikTok video of this brother, guys. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me now. I know I'm in a bad area too. I was looking at this video on TikTok of this brother, right? He said, man, I'm 52. Can somebody explain this letter I just got from the Army? Said I got a report for military duty. It's a real letter. It's not a joke. He said, can anybody explain this to me? I'm 52 years old. I got bad knees. When they talking about report to your nearest Army depot. He said, well, I just came off parole. Because remember, America would send you to the military if you had any kind of prison sentence. He said, you go to the military, you go to jail. He said he just finished parole, so he just, I wrote this comment section, man, don't even show up to that shit. Just act like you ain't never got it. They don't know if you got it. Act like you never got it. He said, we inform you now that you have been military conscripted to report to your nearest Army depot. He said, man, what is this? Is this a joke? Nah, you got real letterhead. Yours ain't no joke. That's real. I wouldn't report them none of that shit. They got to confine me. He said, he said, I'm 52 years old. What are they talking about? Report to the nearest Army depot. So they expect you to be cannon fodder, brother. Oh, I find that video for Joby Friday to show it with you guys, because Joby does her music show on Thursdays. But guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. My internet's going bad. I'm out in the middle of nowhere like a windstorm out this bitch. Ah, damn. So I'm gonna say much love, guys. I'll talk to you guys on Friday show. God damn. What the fuck? I don't weird shit is going on out here. I'll let everybody later. Peace, family. I'm out.